Yo, yo! How's it going? Do another watch list this evening. Start off with a bit of a trade review on my end from some names today, watches into tomorrow, and then if there's any questions that filter in, I will get to those, and then I will move on and go and grab a bite to eat for dinner. That's the plan for tonight. So we'll start off here with RCAT, my most active name today. So we'll start off with the big picture. Obviously going up from the 5s to the 10s, nice 100% move. And then to the intradaily, steady up. We got a little blow off here, pre-market, followed by a huge fade. So now we have 11 to 8 range to play off of. So any shoves closer to 11, I like a reactive trade. And any flushes towards 8, I like a cover, proactive covers. So what we got off the open was not a shove up towards 11. We actually got a pullback. And once low a day confirmed, it went red. I'm now interested in pops versus high a day. So I leaned here on pops. Once it continued to fail, down here, I moved my risk to this bounce high in the 930s. Proactive covers, wicks, 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 wicks. Without this proactive cover, this would have panicked me out. I put some back on and then size back out for a flat trade here. Small gain by the end of it. We got a VWAP exhaustion. It held prior resistance. So now I'm scaling back into these lower highs, looking for rounding action. Scale through this prior 980s. Like if you're just looking at like this area, this is like an inverted head and shoulders. I call it a knees and toes, head and shoulders, knees and toes. But when you get head and shoulders near the lows, you got this 980 base, it breaks and then reclaims and now holds. This could easily continue higher. But once it started to roll over and 980s confirmed, then proactive covers, rescale into pops, proactive covers, bit of a chasey scale, but was not oversized, was fairly small after my full size out here. And then once it reclaimed this 910s, I completely moved on. So fairly active there, but turned out all right. QBTS, small trend join through this failed follow through, covered, and then just didn't get back in there. Ended up missing that one. Qubit, same kind of thing, where I started scaling into this failed follow through momentum, but it started to reclaim VWAP, so I moved on. And QSI, barely even worth mentioning, but this was my last trade of the day. I had put small on. This was just a quantum name. It had quantum in its name, and a daily chart that if it started to build over the 180s, I could have gotten interested. So I just put a starter on there just to stay familiar and didn't really have much momentum. So I moved on there. So those were all my trades from today. QBTS, I was most interested in this given the daily chart and the exhaustion gap with the volume, limited range, a lot easier to not get chopped up on. But it didn't really act how I was expecting. We got these opening range fails and then a reclaim of high a day and pre-market highs before failing again. So I see the opportunity here from 330s down to a red flush, but yeah, I just didn't take it. So I go into it with a fresh head tomorrow, and I think there is still opportunity for a fade back to the low 2s. QCOM, no, it wasn't QCOM, QMCO, yeah. Big multi-day runner, also in that quantum space, nice gap up, parabolic. Now we've got that outlier range expansion with volume sustaining. So if 19s act as a top tomorrow, VWAP, closing VWAP of today is resistance. I think this has good range for a fade back to the daily 4 EMA, back down into the 11 to 12 range. Like volume profile here is down near 10, so sub 19, I think there's a pretty good liquidity pocket down to the low 10s, low teens. Qubit, same kind of thing. This one, I like the close, the nice weak close with baggies up overhead. So I think pops would favor shortened to resistance type idea. using prior day's levels as a guide. So I'd use the 780 to 8 exhaustion range if it wants to get there. But if this thing is opening red tomorrow, it also hasn't gone red in like 5 days. So I think a red open would even be a possibility. Similar to something like DJT, where you get this gap and close below the open on an extended daily. DXYZ, gap and close below the open on an extended daily. And you get those nice day 2 red days. So that could be something that you see here. And if this one starts to pull back, I think it drags QBTS, drags QMCO. You do have Rigetti, another computer name that started catching traction. Color, another technology name starting to catch some traction. ARQQ, another one starting to catch some traction. Vuzi, I don't think this was related to the sector, but it is a big daily from 1 to over 2. So ideally gap up parabolic, but nice exhaustion volume here off the open today. So I think main watches will be in that quantum sector. What's going on? Tina, Luke, Jeff, how's it going, guys? Main watch into tomorrow is definitely going to be this SMCI. If you go back to, I don't remember if it was the 20th or the 21st, but one of the watch lists on this day, I think it was on the 20th going into the 21st. And a question on the stream was, are you still looking at like watching SMCI for tomorrow? And the answer was no. I wanted another setup, a new daily setup, and now we're getting it. If this gaps up in parabolics over 40, I'd call that an A+, but for now it's more of an A grade trade. It has gone from the 20s to the 40, almost 100% move. This one here went 17 to 30, also almost 100% move, and I like to take advantage. It looks small, but if you can take a 28 to 24 move on basically any size you want when it's trading 100 million shares a day, I think there's opportunity there. So this will definitely be a top watch. The last 2 days, the opening range lows have been the low a day set for the rest of the day. Did have some failed follow through momentum here off this push and fail here 3750s. So this was over under a fairly key level throughout the day as resistance became support, became resistance, and then support. So I'd like to see a consolidation breakdown on this sub 3650s. But if this is red, same kind of thing as Qubit. It hasn't gone red in 4 days. So if it's red and holding red, I think you could have a $3 to $4 opportunity on it, similar to that one. So SMCI definitely a main watch. You're just not going to get those fat tail risk as you will with the low floats. ARQQ is kind of in that boat where it's a low float, thin one that I think could get you caught. Same kind of thing with QMCO, lower float one that you could get caught. So these would be more cautious sizing, but something like Qubit trades a lot thicker and I think is a safer name to trade. And then if you want a smaller range, QBTS I think is the safest of the bunch. Not as much reward, but also not as much risk. So those would be the names in that basket. What was that one too? You had Xena, I think it was, with the massive move there today. Not really a whole lot of history on the daily chart, so not something I would jump into and look to play immediately tomorrow. I'd want to see a bit more information before sinking my teeth into something like that. I'm just trying to make some memories, says Timmy. I don't blame you. We're getting in where we fit in. Make some memories, baby. MSTR, this basket's starting to roll over again. If this takes out that 360 to 380 range, could start to retrace a bunch of its move. DXYZ broke out of this little range, not over the big picture daily highs, but over this little double top, and then just gave it all back. Such a tough name. No interest in trading that. Tesla did get SPAC'd, so that definitely helped it. I've been bag holding General Motors in my investment account for a while, so I think I should probably offload this now that I'm finally green on it and look to put that money to work elsewhere. I bought it back here when everything tanked during COVID, and then it was consolidating up here. I bought it up here in 2021 and got smoked, but I just bag held it, and it's not a loss if you don't take it. So now we're green on it, so we'll look to take that trade off tomorrow. Not really a trade, an investment. Nvidia giving back slowly but surely. Yeah, it's bleeding, isn't it? Yeah. Not really a trade in it for me, but I think it's notable. It could help stuff like SMCI if Nvidia stays weak tomorrow. AMD, ARM. Yeah, so they're not super weak, but they're not really trading together. SMCI definitely the nicest daily, going straight up into prior resistance. But yeah, I think we can keep it short and sweet. I don't think there's too much reason to beat a dead horse. I think the everybody will have their eyes on the quantum names. I think SMCI, whether it's tomorrow or Wednesday, I think should have a trade in the next couple days for that mean reversion, a few bucks. And then probably Qubit will be my main watch. And then we'll look to trade QBTS, QMCO off of it. Vuzi, little multi-day runner, I think is outside the sector. It is a tech name, but I don't think it's really trading with it. But it's gone now from 1 to 2 and starting to speed up. So if we can get a gap and blow out. How's this one trading off its opening? 930, low a day. 930, low a day. $9.30 was not the low a day. So the last 2 days, $9.30 low a day when most of the volumes come in. So probably a decent indicator there. The chips are weak, but quantum is hot. Weird as they kind of rely on each other. I missed the entire quantum sector. Yeah, same. I got QSI and got RGTI for a gap or wrong call. Thanks again for their trading lesson, Jenica says. No problem. I don't really think you've missed the quantum sector. Like, I think, sure, there was opportunity to the long side. Like, I know Roland was swinging RGTI overnight. He caught that gap. I know Nate was swinging QMCO for that gap. But I don't really think you've missed it. I think maybe the front side longs have come and gone. But I still think that there's overextension shorts. I think there's backside bounces. If stuff holds up, there could be secondary leg breakouts. I wouldn't say you've missed the sector. I think that there's still plenty of meat and plenty of opportunities to still set up. It's just a matter of being patient and not chopping yourself up before then. So I think that's a good note to leave it on. I think that's good. Alrighty, thank you guys for coming in. Tomorrow we'll get in where we fit in and make some memories. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the room. Thanks, guys. Peace.